100 miles an hour. Sometimes when I look at her, you know, I be asking her like, you know, what's going on? I can see it in your eyes. Like your mind is racing. Slow down. Whatever it is you're going through, slow down. And it don't be in a tone where it may come off aggressive, but honestly, it's because I've been there. I know what type of entity lies behind the anxiety and the confusion. And one of my favorite lines I like to tell her is, your anxiety is lying to you. You know what I'm saying? Your anxiety is, so when you getting all feeling your heart racing and all that stuff, your anxiety is lying to you. Slow your mind down, take a breath, think about what's going on around you, assess it, and then make your decision. You find out 9 times out of 10 your decision will be right.
I can dig it. I you know, people I talk to, I kind of give this a similar message.
Yeah.
I used to say it in my music all the time, because a lot of my music was very, very just, I would purposely speak in a way where I was like contradicting myself.
Right.
But it was just because I think we all do it. We all are very contradictory people.
Yeah.
Or, you know, hypocrites in so many ways. So I would always purposely contradict I would literally say something and then say something different at the end of it.
Ooh, that's some Bryson Tiller type.
I did it all the time though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I like that.
You know,
that's
my
different
thing.
though. That is mad different.
It's just how I look, but I'll tell people, find the beauty in the pain.
Yeah.
Find the beauty in it. Like, if you get comfortable with understanding that pain has a lesson behind it, you'll be calmer in that moment.
Right.
And you can think a little differently.
Right.
And, you know, it's a situation where, like, everything around you is moving fast, but you're slow. You're steady. That's why when things go bad, I'm kind of like, oh, we'll figure it out. My girl's like, what do you mean? Like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
like,
calm down.
I know one thing, if you overanalyze something or you're going overly emotional, nobody's thinking.
Right.
You know, you see two people arguing and you're yelling and screaming, you might say something stupid as hell. That makes no sense.
No sense.
It's because you're not thinking.
Right.
So that's why I try this. When stuff goes down, I look at the fact that I know at some point it will be over.
I'm practicing that now.
It'll be over. You know what I'm saying?
It will be. It
so
always
why
will
trip
be.
about it?
Why trip about it? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a solution that comes out of it.
Right.
Let's focus on the solution and less on the actual problem. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what I mean? It's the solution. You know what I mean? It happened. You know what happened? I'll tell I tell my girl all the time, look, every moment you had that what you thought was the end of the world, it's past.
Was it? Yeah, literally, yeah.
So since you know that, so if you already know that, if you go into a problem knowing that, I'm actually more excited. Like, shit, I'm gonna be past this.
Yeah,
'cause I know I'm gonna be past it.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that even as men, emotionally, given the fact that we didn't really have a lot of opportunities to work that muscle, because it's a muscle. It's no different than lifting weights. Like, if you're lifting weights, you're tearing muscles. You tear it so it builds back stronger. You give it what it needs, the protein. So I feel like knowledge is the protein for our minds. The more that we go through something emotionally or mentally, if you keep feeding it the knowledge behind it, then eventually anxiety doesn't take over you no more. Eventually you can make better decisions. Eventually you understand, like, you're calm. You're a pilot.
Exactly.
Think about our pilots. Whenever you see a pilot, if you're flying a plane, your pilot's like, okay, we're like, he's lit.
Thank you for choosing Delta Airlines.
Right? He's calm. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Listen, we're about to hit some turbulence right now.
Right.
What? We shifting. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But he's cool because they have to be that way. They're what's the thing? Their heart rate is always still.
Yeah, that train to know how to do that.
Exactly.
You know,
because some people naturally have that talent,
right?
And then you can be taught that. You can be taught to naturally do it. I tell my son all the time. I give him 3 things to think about. You know what I mean? Stay calm, assess the situation, then take action. Right. I have it on his door in his room. Like, okay. I said, what's the 3 things? I always tell him to think about the 3 things.
Stay calm. Yeah.
Stay calm first. If you're calm, you think.
Yeah.
You can assess the situation, and you can make a choice. Well, you can take action at that point.
Exactly.
Your action might be no action.
Exactly.
But at least you are calm enough to think about it, because we do stupid stuff all the time. And it's because we're letting our emotions overpower us.
Right.
And I feel like as men, we have to do better.
Well, we got to.
You know what I mean? As far as doing that. And again, if you're not there and you're closer you get to God, he will shift you in ways where he's like, look, you're not getting it? Okay, cool.
Right.
Oh, you ain't getting it still.
Right.
Oh, okay. You drinking to feel better?
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the problem again. Yeah. You know what I mean? I could even tell my past. I was in AA meetings when I was in college. I had drinking alcohol all day, college. I was in Atlanta.
Right.
And alcohol poisoning. I was like 16, 17. Right. You know what I mean? And I was doing it. And then I didn't think I had a problem. I just figured I got introduced to alcohol.
Right.
But then through life, I still was drinking. And I had no idea. Like, I didn't know what I was doing was wrong. I start my morning off like 4 a.m. work, beer, drink, wine. Like, I was drinking all day, going on dates, pick people up drunk. Like, just
Right.
at the end of the day, she had to drive me home. Like, I was doing, but it's because I was feeling so much. And when I drank, I just didn't care.
Right.
And I didn't know it. So I got to a point where I got in a really bad car accident. I didn't get a DUI, thank God. But I was in a situation where I worked it out with a guy, whatever. But like he drove me home. He was like, "Look, I can tell you're a good dude. Like, I'm gonna just drive you home, bro." Like he drove me home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think he had something in the car, so he's like, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
But regardless of it, like I think I was an angel. I think God gave me an angel because I really had a pretty bad car accident, and I was drunk and I was still young. My son was like 2. Like, you know, I was just wilding out, whatever.
Right.
But I realized something. Like, my mom sat me down and she said, "Look, you've had a problem with drinking since high school. You've always had a problem with drinking." She's like, "You got to think about this for a second. What could have happened?
Right.
What could have happened? Like, what could have? Do you understand what could have happened to you?"
Exactly.
I was on McMillan Avenue.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was over there by. Like, do you know what could have happened to you?
A
She's
lot
like,
of different. Yeah.
And at that point, I made a decision, which I went back in the meetings for a while, and I said to myself, either I can get rid of alcohol, or I can learn to understand that's going to be around me, and I can have self-control.
Right.
And I stopped drinking when I was angry. I stopped drinking when I was mad. I stopped doing things, and it's not even just about alcohol. It's just a simple fact that I stopped doing things when I was angry.
Right.
When I was hurt, I would use a vice.
Okay.
And I got to a point where I realized I have to start feeling stuff.
Right.
So I'll feel everything that came around my way. If I fucked up, I didn't do something I didn't run away from my problem. Like, even with my girl, I would mess up and I would just leave the house and just disappear and like just, oh, I'm the worst person in the world. No, I stood there and just sat in her face and like, I fucked up. I messed up. And I would deal with stuff. I kept doing it over and over and over again to the point where I didn't use stuff to make myself feel better. But by doing so, I built that power inside me. I built that muscle up as far as like acceptance, being aware, and understanding what I got going on.
Right.
But I also was able to control my actions because it was my choices.
Right.
I did something stupid. I drank alcohol and did something even more stupid.
Right.
Compared to just understanding it's me.
Me. Right.
And I'm not going to do nothing. And so much people in this world do stuff to run away from their pain.
Yeah.
And it don't have to be alcohol, or it can be drugs. It can be women. It can be strip clubs. It can be it can be anything.
Yeah.
If you're not feeling it. And that's why I always say,
right.
like I said, find beauty in the pain. And I think, our choices, you said you were going through so much stuff, you acted out, whatever.
Yeah.
That was because you're hurting.
Right.
And you didn't know what you were hurting for, but you finally got to a place in life where it seems like, you found God, of course.
Right.
And you seem like you're starting to now just process it. And you even said it. You didn't even say you're done. You said, I'm still processing.
Yeah, I'm still processing.
You know what I'm saying? And that's dope.
It's still processing, and that is an ongoing situation, ladies and gentlemen. You processing with God is like, it's a never-ending cycle. You're gonna always have that faith that He's there, and He'll always protect you and guide you through the things that you're going through. But at the same time, the lessons that He has for you are all for one reason. It's just for you to be able to share the love that He has for all of us. And once we get to that point in life and we are able to share those blessings with people through our knowledge and what we assess, it's like, man, you start to really see the beauty and the blessing behind it. Like, for instance, like the only reason why I even got back into actual church is because my manager, God put someone in my life. My music manager took me to Mount Moriah Baptist Church. He's like, Lucas, man, I know you're not about to just sit through church, but I got a guy who wants you to be the sound engineer for the mega church. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah, come on down and see what you like. See if you know how to do this stuff. I'd never been a sound engineer in my life, but he took me in there. He sat me down. Next thing you know, I've been sound engineering for Mount Moriah Baptist Church, and doing the live sound engineering for the band and all that other stuff.
Right.
And see, God ain't gonna force Himself on you. Mm-hmm. God is gonna do it very gently and very softly to the point where it's like it smooths right in, and it's so smooth where it's like it's acceptable and you can see it happening. That's the beauty of it now. I used to not be able to see it happening.
That's the
now I
goodness.
can see it happening.
Right.
So my manager took me into the church and put me in a position to have a job to do this. It's like now I feel compelled, not compelled, that's the wrong word, but now I feel responsible enough to do this job. But not only am I doing this job for myself and my family, I'm doing this job for God, and having that responsibility to give the people who listen to Mount Moriah Baptist Church preach and in their music. It's like my responsibility is to make sure that these live people on live hear what's being praised. It's my job to do it, and I feel like I have a purpose to fulfill with God now, because it's like he ain't doing nothing but pulling me real softly. Because for so long I've been very rebellious, towards what he had going on in my life. So questioning why do I have all this anger, or why did you leave me here? All these different things. And it's like he's like, it's okay, buddy, come on. I got you. I know what you like to do. Come on. Let me get you this way. And it's like, it's not like he's tempting me. It's like I'm falling. It's like, yes, sir. Let me do this. And I've been happy doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that has been a call on me. It's very refreshing, and listening to it. Every time the pastor talk on Sunday, it's like
talking right to you.
He talking to me every Sunday. He talking to me.
Yeah, he's talking right to you.
And on days where I don't feel like going to church, guess what? She right there. Come on, let's go to church. Oh, if you're not going, I'm not going. If you're not going, okay, we're gonna watch it on the TV then. Or we're gonna praise God for 2 or 3 minutes out the day. If you just feel like you want to relax because you've been working hard all week, we're gonna relax in the bed. But guess what? You're gonna listen to the music. On my birthday, we took the Porsche all the way to out there, Myrtle Beach and stuff like that. Guess what? I wanted to buy a little baby. I wanted to buy some, Young Thug and stuff. You know what she bought? A whole Christian house. All the way to Myrtle Beach. And I'm just like, see, God put people in your life. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of switches things, And
He definitely does.
She had to go through a lot of things in her life, but what she teaches me is what I told her. I'll never be with someone where I can't learn something from.
Right.
And what I'm learning from her is on a godly level. It's patience. Learning patience, learning understanding. And I still have those days where I don't be listening. I just be like, ah. But then I have those days where she's like, come on, I got you. So it's like, I see how it intertwines, and that's why she is who she is. You know what I'm saying? So that plays a major part of my life.
Listen, he has a plan.
Yeah. And knowing, that's the thing, knowing that you have a counterpart that is in your life may have caused some strife or some problems through your situation, but not giving up. When you get to that other side, or you get to a place where you start to see everything that you've been through is for a reason, and it's here to help you. Not giving up. There is a blessing in not giving up on people. There really is a really good blessing, especially watching someone grow into who they are. So yeah.
No, I can dig it, and I agree with that. Giving up on people, and it's a village, it's a community.
It is.
And I think community these days is not what it used to be. Even having friends. If you have a partner, that's your partner in crime for sure. You know what I mean?
Right.
My girl, my life has literally gotten better since I met her.
Right.
Like, I was single for like 5 years. I was done with it. Like, I was like, after my son, I was like, I'm about to be a bachelor. I'm gonna have I was working on the harem. I was just gonna have like, look, I was literally working on this situation where I'm like, we're all gonna be together. It's all good. I was working it out. Like,
I'm the king.
My previous spot, like, it was like, it looked like a like a pad, like it was set up. But I do believe that God, like, he waits until you're ready.
Right.
He puts certain things in place for you to get to the next level. I thought I was just done. I just didn't meet the right person.
Right.
And I wasn't ready for the right person. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready. I wasn't perfect, but I wasn't ready yet.
Right.
It just took one person just something she did. I was like, oh, damn.
Yep.
I just needed my frequency. I had no idea. I just thought, I just needed my frequency.
That's what I went through.
And it's important. And again, I'll even add on when you said, piggyback on when you said, like, giving up on people. I was a type person where, again, I think I was going through a certain stage. So I met a lot of friends, whether it's guys or females, like just, or especially female friends who I had where, either they might have liked me or we might have engaged in certain places, but I just knew they were going through something.
Right.
And I would tell them, look, like, we don't gotta do nothing. Like we cool. I'm not trying to do nothing.
Right.
I'm this is who I am.
Right.
Except you're not gonna change my mind. I'm
Right.
not gonna be with nobody. But I'll be your friend, and I can
Right.
tell they're going through something, and I wouldn't give up on them. I would keep talking to them,
Right.
and give them advice, and try to help them hold accountability and things of that nature.
Right.
And all those people moved on at some point and found stuff. But the thing is, like, I know that something was happening inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
I was still doing music, but then I would talk a lot. I would have conversations. I would ask them real questions. I would pick their brain. I was the person who would say, I was wrong, right?
Right. Okay.
Like, what I mean? I didn't like agree or,
Yeah.
I had a female friend and she was like, she named a bunch of things that she had going on. And I was like, she was like, what do you think? I'm like, sounds like a man to me.
Yeah.
Fuck up. Like, I don't tell you, like, you know what I mean? You're not, but I need a guy. I said, no, for one, you're going through the struggles of a man right now. Like that, the things you're saying you have to do, it sounds like a dude to me. I'm used to it. But the thing is, she wasn't ready for anybody. And I kept saying to her all the time, like, I can't get along with people. I'm looking like, you're not ready.
Right.
I can see through all your stuff. I can see your insecurity. I can see it all. If I can see it, somebody else can see it.
Right.
You need to work on these type of things. And the thing is, I didn't give up on these people. I stayed in their lives. Even though they wanted something different, I gave them something. You know what I mean? And I just didn't let them go. And I think that we as people need to do better as far as like serving our purposes. We all can be messengers.
Right.
You know what I mean? We
all can, yeah.
We all can be messengers.
Yeah.
Just try. I was heading. I think I was heading to Atlanta to go to the festival, whatever. And this guy, older gentleman, walked inside the gas station, and he just, I saw him. He spoke to somebody else, said good morning. The guy didn't say nothing back. I saw him. I said, "How you doing, sir?" Boom, boom. He just kind of like shook. He just stopped. He shook my hand. He was like, "You're the first person who talked to me today." Just said, you know what I mean? And he was trying to preach the message to a bunch of young guys. And he said, "You're the first person who just came to me and talked to me." And he's like, "I was about to give up, but the fact that you spoke to me and just, like a gentleman, and shook my hand and looked me dead in my eyes, he's like, I'm gonna keep on going. I can, you know what I mean? I have something to do." And it gave him just that interaction.
Right.
Gave him something, and I was like, "Oh, I wasn't trying to. I'm just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just wow. Like
It's all in the action. It's all in the action, and one action can set off a fire in people's hearts, man. It all depends on the action. Like you might have diehard fans out here, and you shake their hand, and next thing you know, they're wanting to be not saying just like you, but they want to take the steps and the footsteps that you took to get where you're at. And believe it or not, that's why. You gotta be careful about what you say. Right. You gotta be careful. You gotta be so careful, because once you start to understand how sharp your tongue is,
truly,
man, you got to be careful with that bad boy there. You got to be careful. There's reasons why I don't say certain things in my music anymore, because I don't even want to really talk about. Well, I mean, I'll say a few things like I've witnessed, even things that I've thought of, like what people might have done to me when I was younger, and then 2 or 3 years later down the line, I see that. I just put it this way: God don't play about His people.
I agree.
It might not happen when you want it to happen, but God gonna make sure it happen in His time. So that's why I say it's so important to watch what you say, because it's very scary and it's very eye opening to see what God does to people who are in the wrong path, or in the people that may have done wrong by someone who is protected by God's army.
Oh yeah, don't do wrong by somebody who's protected by Him.
Don't.
It's wrath,
and it's kind of hard to tell until it happens, and that person may have absolutely nothing to do with it whatsoever. It just so happens that all the things that person or actions have been done by that person is just catching up with them. And you just were one of those people that had got done wrong by that person. So you just got to be very careful about how you play with your tongue, man, because that's a weapon in itself, especially if you believe it.
If you truly believe it, that's why I think you should ask for what you want.
Yeah.
It will come.
That's the reason why I'm in the position that I'm in now, is because, and it took me 2 or 3 years to understand why I'm in the position I'm in, but it's because I asked God for this. I asked God for strength. I asked God for clarity, and I also asked God for success. But God understands that we all have our different versions of success. For me,
Right.
all I wanted to be, because I was adopted, I didn't ask God, Lord, I want $1 million. I mean, I say it all the time. Yeah, of course I want $1 million, but when I'm really meaning it, the things that I really meant, He gave to me. God, I wanted to be a father. I wanted to know what it felt like to have my own family. I
Right.
know what it feel like now, because not only do I know what I feel like, He brought my father into my life. You know what I'm saying? So now I know what it feel like to be a father, and I also know what it feel like to be someone's. I'm not gonna say real son, because I am some my adopted dad. He took care of me. So, but I know what it feels like to have that blood in me
Right.
of being belonging to someone's family. So now that I know that, it's like a lot of things changed for me. My actions have changed, and I'm starting to understand the family tree and things like that. That nature too. So that plays a major part in everything, man.
Yeah, you can ask questions too, like
Oh
there's
yeah,
certain things in your family are like hereditary that just passes on. That
yeah,
you walk just like you talk just like what I mean, stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Like what I mean, and that's really dope.
I definitely have my dad's, my real dad's, his way. I put it that way. The way he presents himself is very uh, solid. He's very straightforward, like a knife, like sharp, like that with it. So that's kind of how I see myself and where I got that from, knowing those things and those different things, and now going through what I'm going through. It's a little bit difficult, like I just found out that my real dad got cancer, so he got lung and brain cancer at the same time, and I just met him.
Jeez.
So there's a lot of different responsibilities that have been put on me now, but we're gonna take those things one day at a time. And like we said earlier, it's a part of a process. So it wasn't put in front of me for no reason.
Yeah, and you might have even got pushed in the direction you went as far as like God to give you the strength to handle what's going on.
Right.
Because sometimes we're not ready for certain things, so
Yeah.
you get put through certain stuff in order to be able to handle it, process it. You know what I mean, and be able to be what you got to be.
Exactly.
If you're the head of something, you got to go through a lot of struggles, but you have to be fortified.
You got to be ready for all of those things. If you're a head,
Yeah.
if you are the boss, the CEO, or just the head of anything, family, whatever, you're gonna be the top dog to take all the bow and arrows, all the sword, all that. You got to take all that. You got to be the shield for everybody that's behind you, so that when it's their time, and you can't be selfish in this. You got to be able to understand that you're going to take a lot of blows, a lot of chin hits, a lot of uppercuts, but you got to be able to keep standing up and keep going forward. And if you don't, remember, there's always someone watching to see if you're going to give up or you're going to keep going.
Right.
And it's all about no matter how hard it get, you got to just keep going and be consistent.
Consistent is everything. Consistency is everything. Consistency. I read something about that, and it makes perfect sense. Like, consistency beats everything.
Yeah.
So even if you don't feel motivated, if you remain consistent, when it picks back up, you already had progress.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just keep on moving forward.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. I was consistent, dropped 4 songs in 1 month, and then I hit this. I hit this phase so much now to where it's like I already know what this is. I'm in a phase where guys like, hold up, wait a second, slow down. All right, you done made some big decisions in your life. You got your first contract, your first LLC with Cumulus Media. Slow down. What's happened? What's gonna come next after this is gonna be way different from what you're used to. So before we get you into this broad spectrum of what happens in the music media and the music world, got to get you prepared for that. So here's a couple of tests that you need to be throwing your way before we can actually put you through the door. So for me, it's like all the different responsibilities I have now, and knowing that, and knowing that what happens next with being on a commercial platform for me is like I know that's gonna come with a lot of yays and a lot of nays. So being where we from, we experience a lot of nays, especially in the music world. So, with that thick blood that we receive and we got to learn how to be patient, learn from and assess what we need to do to keep going forward. So I feel like everything for me is mental at this point. Chess moves.
Definitely chess moves.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, you're still processing. You're still
Definitely.
going through your places. And truthfully, like I said, that's forever. We're always evolving.
Mm-hmm.
That's no different than a relationship. I feel like, we're always evolving. We always, your partner's evolving.
Most
You,
definitely.
you give them the ability to be able to independently grow. So that way, as they figure out who they are, then you get to figure out who they are, and they get to figure out you. You know what I mean? It's a
Exactly.
constant transaction back and forth.
Yeah.
But in any interaction, any ship, like relationship, any way, friendships, relationships, bonds, connections, things of that nature, whomever is evolving and most aware, and I think you spoke earlier about emotional intelligence, who's most aware of what's going on, God will push you in the lead. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
you gotta step in like, oh, hey, this is what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, somebody has to be able to do it.
I say, and what you said about being emotionally intelligent to be able to lead, I say for the last two years of having that position and that responsibility, I feel like I haven't necessarily done it in the right way, and that's what I'm still learning. Being a leader being a leader and being someone that's ahead of something, you have to always remember that other people's feelings are important as well.
Right.
And not everything that I had to understand that not everything that I know, the next person is gonna know. Not everything I know, she know. You know what I'm saying? And if I know something and she don't know it, it's my job to show her the way or show her the light. Because not everybody is as open as we are to the things that are around us. And once we understand that, you kind of have a different love for people. You trying to look at people like, man, what? Like you see somebody do something crazy on the internet, and you just be like, man, what is he doing? But then when you actually, understand that person may be lost, and you have that tie in you where you have God with you, it's like you look at it different. You look like, all right, you might have done this wrong. This could be possibly a great solution for you, but before you choose this solution, I want you to pray. And if you pray over it, it may give you a different heart, a different light, and you may be able to move forward. That's what I'm starting to learn now. Being the age that I am now, like I don't want to judge people no more about on things and at the way that they do. Instead of hating the person, hate the action and what made you do that. Because what made you do that action, it wasn't necessarily the person. It was what's inside that person. Mm-hmm. And it's got a lot to do with the things that we don't see. And I don't want to go too deep into that,
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I would say like it's no different like what you said. Like your experiences make you react.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can understand my enemy. I can understand. You know what I mean? I might not like you, but I can at least understand your choice. And I've always tried to have that way of thinking. And I think that every man at some point, whether they grow with it or they get to that point, you have to be able to look at everything.
Right.
You have to be able to understand. Like I said, understand. You're not gonna think the way I think. And it's not a situation of like it's my way to highway type of situation. Right. Now, granted, if you give me the role to lead, you have to trust me.
Right.
And I have to be able to display that I have that ability to lead. And that requires me being able to understand stuff. And, like I said, we've been through it. I was, my son's mother for 10 years, and it took me every bit of 10 years to understand, and afterwards realize, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, I didn't understand it. I was always quick. I that's how my dad was. I'm always quick. If I have an issue, I've always focused on fixing.
Right.
That's just how I'm wired. But I was always told in my counseling, I lack empathy. Right. You don't have any empathy. I'm like, what's the point? Like, if something bad happens, just focus on fixing it. And I kept in my mind making like, why don't you just focus on fixing it? But not everybody thinks that way. And, if you want to trust somebody, if somebody was supposed to trust you with their emotions, you have to be willing to slow down to feel their emotions. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, something went bad. I'm like, all right, all right, okay, you want me to be there in the moment with you for a while? Okay, all right, cool. I'll do that for a while now because I now understand. But you have to, and the more that you're able to be aware, you learn people around you. Yeah. You learn their tics, you learn their things, you get the way they move, you know what I'm saying? And also they might be more willing to listen to how you think. Right. And respect it a little bit. Like some things are you. They're just what you are. Right. I was told, I've been told plenty of times, like, you're rude or you think you're right. I don't